What's up, guys? Ridiculous Narwhal here, and today we're talking about the Cycle Frontier, specifically the closed beta. But before that, I do want to address a couple things. Obviously, I'm not doing World of Warcraft content right now. I may or may not be in the future, but it's leaning more towards the no. I know most of you are subscribed because of my, let's be honest, all of you are subscribed because of my World of Warcraft content. If you don't like that I might not be doing World of Warcraft content,
I fucking hate you.
I'm kidding, but for real. Hopefully it doesn't upset too many of you. If you unsubscribe, I completely understand. I wouldn't want to see stuff in my feed that I don't want to see either. But if you do decide to stay, I appreciate your support. Hope you smash the like button, comment down below what you think. I would really appreciate it. Also, if you're new, if you could hit the subscribe button, bell notification icon, the like button, and also comment what you think. It would be greatly appreciated, and it helps me make better content in the future. But yes, currently I am not making World of Warcraft content. I don't know. We'll see what the future holds. But for today, we're talking about the Cycle Frontier. The closed beta was relatively easy to get access to. I literally just went on Steam. I signed up for the closed beta, and they sent me an invite by email a couple days later. So as it happens, I'm actually finishing this video late, and I wish I had realized this sooner, but the closed beta is actually over as of November 8th or 9th, it looks like. I wish I had known it was ending so soon, because I would have played a whole lot more, but unfortunately, as of right now, the closed beta is, well, closed. No longer available for play. So just a little update here from Editing Narwhal. The game has been really fun so far. I do have a couple things that I did think were kind of a problem, not really a big deal. We're gonna start off with the bad, because I do like to end on a good note. First off, during the tutorial, it was really dark and hard to make out details in certain environments, like indoors, under trees, that kind of stuff. And then there was also this like weather system that rolled in. It was really dark and there was lightning. It was scary. I died. Kind of embarrassing, but I did have to turn up my brightness a good bit in order to regain visibility and detail. So I'm not really sure if that was just the default settings, or maybe I had some sort of setting wrong on my computer. Maybe, who knows? Not a huge deal, but I did notice it. One of the other things that stood out was there's not a lot of in-game story or lore, but this was expected because it is an early access game. Other than the brightness issue, another thing I think the game could use is maybe some sort of tutorial that included AI players as well, just to sort of practice or familiarize oneself with the PvP side of the game. I think that would be really helpful in the future. Right now, the game only has 2 playable maps, but they are huge, and a third is shown as available soon. When I say these maps are huge, I do mean they are pretty big. Like if you played the Battlefield beta, think bigger. Probably one of the 2 biggest issues I had with the game was there's not many guns in the shop. There's basically just one type of gun for each category. So there's an assault rifle, a SMG, a marksman rifle, a bolt-action sniper, and a pistol. There's tons of attachments, which I thought was interesting for so few guns. But I think I would definitely want more attachments before having more guns, if that makes any sense. I mean, there are other guns, but they're only like craftable, or I think you have to buy them. I don't know. I haven't looked into that part too much. This really is just like my overview on my first couple playthroughs. Something I noticed in the tutorial and in my first raid, and some of the others after that, is that the AI monsters are not very intelligent. They're pretty easy to trick to like stay behind rocks, or like if you're climbing up stairs and there's one like right above you, you can kind of get them to stay at the top of the stairs with a little finesse, and then just pretty easily pick them off without taking any damage. That's just the experience I had, but you know, your mileage might vary. Probably the biggest issue I had was there's a very scarce amount of lootable containers and just loot in general in the game. You could find some open loot laying out in certain areas, like on top of containers, but there really wasn't a whole lot. It felt pretty slim. In fact, some buildings were completely empty and just seemed kind of like placeholders. Not really an issue, but the breathing is kind of comical, and hopefully it gets updated. He starts breathing really heavily pretty quickly, and I don't know, it just sounds kind of funny. I'll sort of insert a little clip of the in-game breathing here. Yeah, there's a lot of grunting and panting and all that fun stuff. A small glitch I did experience during my playthrough is the game did restart into the tutorial randomly while I was just like traversing the player hub. Holy. Okay, so some of this stuff gets pretty expensive. Wow, okay, whoa. The fuck? Wait, what just happened? Wait, why? Okay, I think I found a bug. Not really sure what happened there, but it was kind of weird. One last thing I did experience also on the sort of glitchy, buggy side is there was like a light to moderate stuttering of movement. I'll see if I can find a clip of it, but I think it was especially noticeable while crouching. It would kind of like stutter back and forth a little bit here and there as I was just moving around the environment. Small bug, not really a huge issue, but very noticeable and distracting. So that's it for the bad stuff. What about the good stuff? There's a lot of it. I think this game is honestly, it has the potential to be really great. There are a couple things that are questionable. There does appear to be a battle pass of sorts. They call it the Fortuna Pass. That's coming soon. Hopefully it won't fall in line with the stigma surrounding battle passes, but that is there as well. But let's just get into like the details of what I thought was good. I honestly think the alien monsters are really, really cool and somewhat unique, but I feel like there could be more variety. If I counted right, there only seemed to be 3, 4, or 5 total monsters, but I didn't really see that many in my playthrough. Let's get to the weapons. Honestly, the weapons feel fantastic. They look really good. You don't question whether or not you're gonna hit your target when the reticle is aimed right on them. There's really not a whole lot of guessing going into it. You just aim and shoot, which I like. I like simplicity. I don't, even though I love playing Battlefield, sniping honestly is so painful for me sometimes, especially if I'm pretty far away. You have to aim like way up high. Don't really like that. These weapons felt great, very arcadey, honestly, but that actually does well in this game, I feel. So there appears to be 19 different characters. How obtainable and playable they are is another question. I don't know really enough about it at this moment, but I thought that was actually a pretty good amount of characters. Let's talk combat. The combat is honestly really thrilling. It feels dangerous. I ran straight to exfil right after my first firefight just because I did not want to lose my first raid. So I went in with the pistol. Obviously, I didn't do too well with just a pistol. I was worried about losing stuff, obviously. So I ran straight for the nearest exfil and I got the hell out of there. So my first raid, I did get some small loot, nothing like impressive or valuable, but my first raid was a success. So for an early access game, they actually seem to have an impressive amount of systems and elements already implemented into the game, which I was honestly really impressed with it. So they have a full player hub that's really reminiscent of Destiny, and it's actually gorgeous and detailed. You can actually like look straight up, and it's this giant space station, and you can see all of like the flying vehicle traffic. It's awesome, honestly. In the player hub, you'll notice there are 3 different faction leaders that you can talk with, who all have their own contracts, armories where you can buy weapons and whatnot. They also have reputation levels. I'm not really sure what all they're going to implement with the reputation levels, but right now it appears to just unlock different weapons that you can purchase from their armory. Speaking of the contracts, or quests, whatever you want to call them, really, they're just missions that you can complete. They actually feel pretty meaningful to learning the game and interacting with the game and the systems, and they also give you currency, obviously, and experience, and what are called scripts, SCRIPS, which are required for some of the upgrades in your player quarters, which I will be talking about here in just a couple of minutes. There's also a really cool community crafting station, which kind of adds like a really social aspect to crafting items, armor, and weapons. There's actually some really expensive weapons you can craft on this that are in the millions of the in-game currency. They start you out, at least in the closed beta, with roughly 30,000, which is, it's more than enough to buy like a bunch of weapons. Like, I mean, a bunch, like one of each weapon that they have in the shop, at least, and a bunch of armor, all the meds you'll need, ammo. Like you won't be really wanting for anything, which I think was kind of the point. So I don't know what they'll start you out with in the release. So we've mentioned the shop a couple times. Let's talk about the shop. There's really not a whole lot to write home about here, but I did think the shop was set up really nice, organized. The entire UI in general actually is super intuitive, which I actually forgot to write here in my notes. But I had no trouble navigating the entire UI. Really, really intuitive. But as far as the shop goes, there's not a whole lot of weapons. I mentioned that in the bad, but there's a pretty decent amount of consumables, pretty standard. I wish there was more, but it is what it is, and we'll see what they add after they come out with more content, and see what they do post closed beta. The player quarters I thought was also a really nice touch. There's not a ton to speak about thus far, but there is some upgrades and like income management, it seems. There's like an income generator, as well as a workbench and an upgrading system for your inventory, the workbench and the income generator. I didn't really dive too much into this in my gameplay, so I don't have a whole lot of information on this, but I thought it was pretty cool. There's also an insurance system that I thought was preferable to what they have in Escape from Tarkov. Escape from Tarkov, essentially, you're covered as long as, like when you die, you're covered as long as whatever you have insured doesn't get looted. So it doesn't really work for desirable items or good weapons. As far as how the insurance works here in the cycle, basically you just get a payout when you die. That's like a portion. I'm not sure what the percentage is, but I'm sure it's like 60, maybe 70% of the value of what you have in your inventory. So I actually think that's a whole lot more forgiving rather than just maybe getting some of your stuff back. As I mentioned before, there's a battle pass of sorts called the Fortuna Pass. Also, like I mentioned before, I hope this doesn't really fall in line with the stigma. Battle passes tend to get a pretty bad rap, and I hope they do this one a lot better than some of these other games have been doing. Footsteps in this game are easily heard and tracked, but I don't know if it was just me, but they're sometimes sort of hard to differentiate from distant gunfire. But maybe my ears are just kind of playing tricks on me. Some of you, when I mention this, might kind of go, duh, but the prospecting system is interesting and useful in the game. You actually use a lot of the minerals from it for upgrading, crafting, and you use it to turn in some of the contracts. So that's basically all I had to talk about. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it was I tend to be kind of long-winded sometimes and monotone, so hopefully that isn't too distracting. I will try to work on it in newer videos. This is definitely a different format. Never done anything like this before, so your feedback is super important to me. Please leave a comment down below. Don't forget to smash the like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already with the bell notification icon, and as always, stay ridiculous.